And hello, welcome to London Liverpool Street. We're on the GEMMA line, the Great Eastern Main Line, and we're going to be doing a ATS Class 745 Flirt run from London Liverpool Street through to Ipswich. And let's get this set up first of all. So I've got the mod installed by Jared Mouri from the TrainSim community website, which just makes the controls a little bit easier. There's still a little bit of a procedure to follow though, but it's reasonably straightforward. It's the AWS cancelled. First of all, we have to put in our login. Doesn't really matter what number we put in at all. And we need to log in. And that's okay. We'll turn the parking brake off at this stage. That's easy enough. We are 12 car. We'll do the GSMR whilst we're here. So we're 1 Papa 1 6, and I've checked the signal from earlier on. I know it's 45, so that's 045 of course. And we do have the announcements sorted as well, so this is quite clever. We can put the head code in, so 1 Papa 1 6, confirm the head code. So all that done, we'll get the doors open at this stage.
Norwich, we will be calling at Stratford, Chelmsford, Colchester, Manningtree, Ipswich, Stowmarket, Diss and Norwich.
Now, we also need to set our speed controller, so we are 15 out of the station. We've got a yellow now, so we'll knock the DRA off. We are due to depart at 09:30. To put ourselves into forward as well. Just wait for this unit to come into the platforms. What is it, 387 is it? That should hopefully give us a slightly clearer way through. It's an absolute age since I've driven this actually. I bought it just before Christmas and I had that run that I did a video on around about Christmas time of Ipswich to Liverpool Street, but there hasn't been a great deal of scenarios uploaded that have been northbound, not in the daytime anyway. There was a default one in the pack that was night time, and then I came across this one on ATS, Alan Thomson Simulation, and it's Train Driver Gamer who put this up.
Chelmsford, Colchester, Manningtree, Ipswich, Stowmarket, Diss and Norwich. The next stop will be Stratford.
That is an absolutely superb model, I have to say. Now, it's very expensive and we aren't going to spend the entire video chatting on about that, but it is superbly made, incredibly detailed. Right, we're 30, but we've got to keep an eye out on these signals because I think the next one might still be at danger. So I'm going to still keep at 15 for the second. And I did think at first the controls are a little bit complicated, but it is very, very immersive, lovely to drive, and the sounds are absolutely brilliant. I think there is some signalling hold-ups in and around Stratford. I've got a suspicion we're going to get some news on that fairly soon, so that might just keep us occupied, make it a little bit more interesting. You can see all the city skyline buildings in the background as well. And the great thing about this run, I mean really I've been waiting for the Aventras to come out for Train Sim Classic, and there was an expectation that we were going to get a kind of a AI version of it that we could use that you couldn't drive, and that was supposed to come out quite quickly, but it never seems to have materialised, and I don't know whether there are plans still to bring it out. But the good news about this, we still got purple trains because the reskin of the Class 360, the Heathrow Express, into kind of a representation of the Elizabeth Line train, so that's pretty decent. There we go, we've now got clearance. We've got green as well, so we are, well, we're 25 over the point, so we'll perhaps dare to go up to 25. This is, of course, using the upgraded GEMMA line as well, which is pretty good fun, I have to say. I think it's a chap called Matt Goodison of ATS. Right, here's kind of the news. Signal call to all trains approaching Maryland on the down main. 2K10 has passed. Pass alarm activated in its holding platform 4. Driver and guard are investigating. Expect red signals in the area. Driver of 1 Papa 16 will be diverted to stop platform 10A at Stratford, held at either L281 or L295. If need be, I'll start diverted via the down electric before Stratford to run around. Signal and out. That was the first of the 360s. And this was kind of, I think this is basically the era where the 345s were actually running into Liverpool Street as well. I mean, we've talked many times on the stream about this, about the fact that the Great Eastern Main Line, on the live streams, about the Great Eastern Main Line would be a fantastic choice for Train Sim World, well, 6 maybe. And it would be quite a good era actually if they represented it kind of how this is, because there was a time when the 345s were operating into Liverpool Street, and then you could actually then quite reasonably do Liverpool Street to Shenfield, as well as the fast services with the Flirt. And I've seen models transported from one game to the other in the past, so it would be superb if this wonderful unit could be made available for Train Sim World at some point. I mean, I know a lot of the scripting and everything would need to be completely different for Train Sim World 5. I guess it's only really the model that would go into the game. And I have to say, whoever came up with the idea of flashing on the screen when you're on the outside view about the AWS alerts, absolute genius. Because hopefully that might just save the odd emergency brake application.
We are now approaching Stratford. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it, say it, sort it.
But I have to say, anybody that says driving modern units is relatively boring, then take this for a spin, because it is a great deal of fun. Absolutely love it. Incidentally, we have passed Bethnal Green, which is the junction for the West Anglia main line that goes off to Stansted Airport and Cambridge, amongst other places. Yeah, we should be down to 20 over these points. I mean, my absolute idea would be to have the 345s operating into Liverpool Street to do the Shenfield services, and have the Flirts, but also have that slight transitionary period when you still have the 90s available as well. And if we could get the 90 into the game, we've already got the Mark IIIs, so in a DBT, then we really would have a absolutely superb period.
Welcome to this service for Norwich. We will be calling at Chelmsford, Colchester, Manningtree, Ipswich, Stowmarket, Diss, and Norwich.
Of course, the idea is that the sounds in the cab for the announcements would be relatively muffled in real life, and of course when you're actually in the passenger compartment they would sound quite loud, so they've gone to some trouble to get that right. When you compare the original Great Eastern Main Line, although it was great at the time, it was one of the very first add-ons to come out from, well, I don't think they were even called Dovetail games then, were they? As part of Rail Simulator or Railworks, whatever it was at the time. But this upgraded version is absolutely fantastic. I mean, the hope is that eventually they'll extend it through to Norwich as well, and there is a hope that we might eventually get a new Liverpool Street, because the one that's on the game, although it's reasonably good, it's very, very buggy.
Ipswich, Stowmarket, Diss and Norwich. The next stop will be Chelmsford.
So we are just about, there's a purple train. I'll say it's a 360, but it certainly does the job. So we're about to go through Maryland. So I have to keep an eye on these signals though. And I quite like the idea of this scenario, because clearly, as we said in the brief when we were en route between Liverpool Street and Stratford, there's something going on, so it's just a little bit more interesting. I mean, hopefully once we get past kind of the blockage, then we're going to get a clear run, but just provides a bit of immersion, which I absolutely love. Say great credit to train driver GEMMA, and this scenario is on Alan Thomson Simulation. I don't know whether it's on Train Sim Community as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. Yeah, we are starting to get slightly better from the signalling perspective. So before we get to Ilford, you've got sort of Forest Gate, Manor Park, then Ilford. Ilford's quite a distinctive station because we've got the big depot there beyond it. And we've got green, so hopefully that's a good sign. Again, it's like one of those situations where you wouldn't want to be racing away, because yes, we've got a green signal, but the chances are we're still going to get an adverse one following that up. You've kind of got those, I don't know what they're called, but you can see you've got the upgraded hangers down from the catenary. I'll try and keep it's a good cab view actually, you get a good view ahead of you, but I'll keep that angle a little bit so we can see what we're doing on the speedometer. It probably would be a fairly easy line to really get the hang of things in terms of driving it hoodless. Right, now we're going to get some speed up, and you'll see that this thing absolutely takes off like a rocket. The one thing you do have to be aware of though is the neutral sections. Going to be racing through Ilford, so we're going. The flyover now means that the slow lines are going to suddenly pop up on the left-hand side. we're working our way beyond Ilford through Seven Kings, Goodmays, Chadwell Heath, Romford, Gideon Park, Haroldwood, Brentwood, and then Shenfield. Our first stop is actually Chelmsford. They've done a bit of work, I do know, on getting Ilford Depot to look up to scratch as well. We've got a couple of custom models put in there. It was interesting, we saw that double yellow clearly to green, so we're perhaps not totally out of the woods yet in terms of green signals. Have to keep an eye on that. The one thing I will say is it's incredibly good to drive, but you do have to be slightly wary of the brakes on the later stages. It slows down pretty quickly, but once you get down to the last few miles an hour, it's a little bit of a different story, so just bear that in mind. It's kind of got the old and the new, really, the Great Eastern Main Line, because you've got this catenary which goes back to the 1950s. It was one of the earlier lines to be electrified. I think it was under the 1500 voltage as well, you know, the old DC voltage before they transformed it into AC. And you've got the rare side of photos that you look at, you can see both steam trains running alongside EMUs as well. I always have to remind myself which buttons to press for the horn, because it's a little bit different than than Train Sim World. And also, when you get the vigilance thing going off, it's E rather than Q. Got the Armstrong Powerhouse weather pack in as well, because I kind of downloaded it yesterday and was preparing to give it a run, and the skies looked not very good at all, to be honest. And I was tinkering around with brightness settings and this, that and the other, and then it kind of occurred to me, well, I think I need to re-download the pack. You know, presumably there's been some sort of patch which has wiped it out, so put that in and jobs are good. I think it's supposed to be in 1 hour 11 minutes all told, the run to Ipswich. A slightly odd one there with the signalling, because I'm sure the previous signal was double yellow. It did change to yellow late on. This is Romford, isn't it? This is the where the overground Upminster service comes in. I've said it quite a few times on this various streams and stuff, but sometimes you buy these packs and these add-ons, both for Train Sim Classic and Train Sim World, and don't really get to take full advantage of them because there's so much coming out all the time, which is great. I mean, it's really exciting. There's the Upminster branch going away to our right, by the way. It's fantastic that you've got new stuff coming out all the time, but it does limit the time you have to drive everything to give everything a proper go. So I'm kind of working on the basis that if we do about 60 mile an hour with a double yellow and then slow down to about 30 when we get a single yellow, I'm hoping we'll get a clear run at some point. There's such a regular Elizabeth line service from both Shenfield and Abbeywood, and of course in reality now, since the tunnel section was open, they don't go through into Liverpool Street, or at least not the normal overground platforms. There's the tunnel section, and they carry on to Heathrow Airport and Reading. But when we did the southbound run before, the one that's in the pack, that was kind of represented that time when all the local services were 315s. I love driving the 315 as well. And again, you know, thinking about that Train Sim World possibility, you would think it wouldn't take that much invention to create a 315. We've already got a 313 and a 314. Here's a neutral section. I've seen it this time. Probably for the first time in a very long time in the history of the Great Eastern Main Line, they've got a purpose-built train ready-made. You know, you think, well, the 90s were kind of knockoffs in as much as they weren't built for that particular line. The 86s certainly weren't built for that line. Now I had to look it up because obviously it's the Stadler Flirt, and originally originates from Switzerland, I believe. But of course the big question is, what's Flirt stand for? And the answer, of course, is Flinke, Leichte, Innovativa, Original, Tree as Bug. So if you're saying it a bit quicker, you probably say Flinke, Leichte, Innovativa, Original, Trebzug. Anyway, I'm not going to keep repeating that. You understand why people call them the Flirts. Right, now dare we hope we've actually got 90 now. We've got green signals, so perhaps we're going to get a clear run on the line, which would be very nice, wouldn't it? Hopefully we've got green signals and full steam ahead, as another YouTuber might term it. I'd love to see the West Anglia main line represented either in Train Sim Classic or Train Sim World as well. I mean, there is a version for Train Sim Classic that has been in the works for absolutely years and years. There is a kind of a beta version of it you can download from Liverpool Street, but there's no scenery in and around Liverpool Street. There is also a Steam Workshop version which takes in, I can't remember what the starting point is now, but that does go through to Stansted Airport. So I don't think it'd be a massive amount of scenery in terms of mileage anyway to do the Liverpool Street bit, but if it doesn't come out, I might just have a go at putting some scenery in, and even if it's not that distant, because you spend the rest of your life trying to get all the scenery in and around London, but just to try and make it playable, I'd love to do that at some point. And we are coming towards Stratford. Stratford, what am I talking about? We are coming towards Shenfield. We've got the reminder for 75. Did briefly flash up 25, so we must have had a service branching off. I think the sounds of this are absolutely superb, and I know that following the Alan Thomson Simulation creation and everything, that I know that there is a Greater Anglia driver that's played his part in putting all this together. I presume that's helped with the access. You've got the lines veering away to Southend at this point. We do eventually get 100 mile an hour on the radar. There's another neutral section. I mean, the bets are on really. What do you reckon for Train Sim World 6? Do you think we could get the GEMMA line? Do you think it could be the East Coast Main Line South with King's Cross to Peterborough, or maybe the Midland Main Line? St Pancras to Bedford would be a bit boring, wouldn't it? Surely it would need to go a little bit farther than that. We're only a few miles away from Chelmsford. It's amazing when you've got something to occupy your mind with the signals and looking at the various bits of the train and everything, the time absolutely flies by. If for some reason you don't have all the parts available to download this upgraded route, and really is worth it. You can still use this 745 on the default pack. I know the scenarios that come with it work on the default Great Eastern Main Line as well, but personally I think it's well worth being able to drive it on this upgraded GEMMA as well. It makes it 100% better. Just needing a few more scenarios created, really. Easy for me to say, who's only ever done the most basic of scenarios of train sim. I know just how much time is necessary to go into them, because again it's such a frustrating game. You could spend a load of time just trying to make sure everything happens the way you want it to happen, because it's a little bit of artwork sometimes, making sure that certain things pass you at the right point and trying to get interesting traffic in, make it a bit more varied. And of course we are hoping we still get the new version of the line from Ipswich to Norwich as well. There used to be a version available. I did have it actually, but when I reinstalled the game about 6 months or so ago now, I forgot to take a copy of it before I uninstalled it and reinstalled it. So sadly, I can't find that, and unfortunately, it's no longer available. The original route author, I think he got so fed up with people moaning about issues with it and it being slightly unstable, that I think he just got fed up with it completely in the end and took it down, which is kind of understandable. I mean, if I was being totally greedy about Train Sim World as well, a version of it coming in, I think I'd probably love to see as well at least one of the branches going in, so you know, sort of Clapton or Southend, or you know, surely not both, but I'm sure I'm asking too much for that. We are coming into Chelmsford, the county town of Essex, and it's where Essex County Cricket Club play their cricket in the main, I believe. I do know one thing that's missing. I mean, I've never been to Chelmsford in my life, but I believe there is a cathedral there, and I think you should be able to see it when you look out of your view at the station, but I think that isn't visible. But
text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it, say it, sort it.
there's also the hybrid version of this train as well. I think it's the 755, and I think that is for use on the Wherry lines over the non-electrified portions of the Great Eastern. And I believe that it's probably not massively far off before we get that version available from Alan Thomson Simulation as well. I'll try and be reasonably good, and we'll try and come in at roughly the right place. So you just have to think ahead a little bit with those brakes.
Welcome to this service for Norwich. The next stop will be Colchester.
I think the reason why we don't get any passengers in most of these Train Sim Classic ones nowadays, and I think Armstrong Powerhouse kind of hit on this really, because they were so kind of cartoony and blocky and in the loop for them. I think they sort of said, look, you know, what's the point in making these very, very realistic looking trains and then having hopeless looking passengers? So generally they've just not bothered. I don't think it's a massive issue really. So I've not altered the speed control yet, because we're actually very, very soon getting 100 miles an hour for the first time, which I think probably our top speed on this Great East, but it'll be like that more or less most of the way to Ipswich then.
The next stop will be Colchester.
Yeah, now we've got the 100 for the first time. Never did check whether we managed to. Oh, we got ticks. Though having said that, I don't think we've got any timings, which is always good, because that means, providing we're recording us stopping at all the stations as we should be, then we are going to get a successful completed scenario at the end of things. I must confess I spend most of my time on Train Sim World 5 nowadays, which is generally why I do that on the streams, but there's the odd thing that keeps tempting me back to Train Sim Classic, and kind of this train's one of them, the Nicholas Southeastern extension, which we've just recently added a bit more on that line as well, out of Charing Cross and Cannon Street. So you've got the whole of the loop line now, but you know, we go down to Sevenoaks and Tonbridge. Might have got away with that neutral section with the pantograph being at the back. I think generally the procedure is to have the pantograph raised at the back, because if there is an issue and the driver spots it, then he could quickly lower the pantograph and avoid damaging the equipment. That's the view I love. And also I have to say there's been some good sound mods being done as well, from the favourite one at the moment, Sam, I think his name is, something like Sam TSM, but he's produced some great sound mods that has improved a lot of the older units, even the Armstrong Powerhouse sounds. So as long as you don't mind occasionally spending an evening downloading 1,000 reskins to get a particular scenario working, then it's still a decent game. I have to say, with this particular scenario, just a nice balance, because we've got the new stock in there, but there's only, I think, 2 or 3 reskins or downloads are needed. You kind of need most of the Armstrong Powerhouse packs, like we've got the 321 that you've seen. You need the 66 as well. Funnily enough, the one that it's actually recommended, I couldn't get to work, so I did a bit of a swap over there in TS Tools. So after Chelmsford, Hatfield, Peveril, and then this is Whittam that we're coming through now. Of course, the branch with the Braintree line. Love the rattling over the points, and I've said this quite a few times on various videos, but I think I'm a bit obsessive about the track joint sounds, and if Armstrong Powerhouse came up with a track joint sound pack, that would be right up my street, because I think without any shadow of doubt, the track joint sounds on Trains of the World are much superior. And some people have suggested that the sounds on Train Sim Classic generally they think are better than Train Sim World, but I always think, well, Train Sim Classic sounds more analog and Train Sim World sounds more stereo, even if there isn't perhaps the range of sound options for Train Sim World. I know it's still got its lovers, Train Sim Classic. But I think for the time being, there's still very much a place for both. But it's just good that Train Sim World now has been building up the route mileage. So you can easily spend an evening with different routes over several weeks and make it reasonably varied. That's what I've tried to do in the live streams. Thanks as ever for all the subscribers, by the way, new and existing ones. Got told off the other night for saying old subscribers. Thank you very much for all your support. As ever, massively appreciated. And keep it going. And if you're new and you're liking the content, then please consider liking and subscribing. I'd be tremendously grateful. Halverton, then we've got Marks Tay, and then it's Colchester. Of course, Marks Tay, you've got the Sudbury branch going off as well. And I probably mentioned this a time or two as well, but the go back to Microsoft Train Simulator, and there was a Great Eastern add-on for about 20 quid. You got the whole lot. You got all the line, all the branches, a million different pieces of train. And I remember spending one Christmas, probably about 20 years ago or so now, with just playing scenario after scenario. Absolutely superb. And okay, not quite with the range of what's available now with the sounds or the graphics come to that, but still very enjoyable. I know the model was created by, I think his name for his site used to be something like Guten Bahnhof, something like that, but I think it's George somebody, isn't it? But then I think Alan Thomson Simulation brought in somebody else to do a lot of the scripting. Probably the most detailed train that's ever been made for Train Sim Classic, I would hazard to suggest. And I think, you know, if somebody like even me can get the thing started, then it's, you know, a lot of the complexity is not particularly complicated when it boils down to it. Still a mystery to me why I did have an issue with it when I was doing a live stream just before Christmas. I couldn't get the thing moving, but I've tried it again since, and it's really, really simple. I was wondering yesterday, maybe it was just the fact that it might have been something simple like the pantograph needed raising again. Anyway, water under the bridge now, but we are just about 4.5 miles away from Colchester. Then it won't be too far off then Manningtree and Ipswich, where another driver will take over to complete our journey to Norwich. That's one thing I much prefer with Train Sim Classic, because you always get those alerter sounds when you're outside the cab, and although some will say that's perhaps a tad unrealistic, well, I think when you're kind of doing these videos, I mean, when you're driving it, I suppose, for yourself, you're probably not going to be that bothered about seeing the outside view sometimes, but when you're looking at the outside view, you want to hear those sounds. So just so grateful that we do get some sort of alerts on it, otherwise we'd be seen as though you can't seem to switch the sound off. I don't know these trains massively. The last time I actually took a train, I've only done it a couple of times in my life. Sort of Liverpool Street. Well, I think I've only done it once to Norwich, but I've done it once to Ipswich as well. But that was in a class 90. No, actually, I've done it a couple of times to Norwich because I had the chance a few years back then of doing when they were using the 37s on those short run services. I took it out to Great Yarmouth, Blackpool Tower it was named. When I say took it out, I make it sound as though I was driving it, but I mean actually there's a passenger. Busy looking scene in the yard as well. Missed the 321s. Because again, we haven't got a 720 available either. And again, that would be pretty easy to do for Train Sim World because, well, they kind of use the 720s, the 345s as representations on the Mildmay line at Stratford. Got this curious sort of staggered platform in Colchester. Huge amount of detail with the signage as well that's gone in to make this accurate. Even at this end though, it seems to go on forever. Oh, I like that. They had like the arrow marking on the left to indicate that it's which platform you're pointing towards.
Welcome to this service for Norwich. The next stop will be Manningtree.
I think you have to remember as well, the doors are closed, but we haven't got the interlock on. You still have to press your R to make sure that the lock is in place. There's all these screens as well. We've not really paid a great deal of attention to them, but it gives us the speed limit. I remember asking, I think it was when I did the previous video, but I think I mentioned as I was doing the run, I wondered whether in reality it would give you advance notice on that speed limit about speeds reducing, but somebody who knew more than me suggested that isn't the case. Going to bother changing it down to 90 because way before we get to the 100 mark we're going to be way short of that. That's the Clacton line, by the way, disappearing beneath us. Again, that used to be on the Microsoft Train Sim route. whole lot was there as well. The Marks Tate and Sudbury route, the Braintree route. Incredible value it was. Romford at Upminster. Southminster was on there as well as Southend. It was just exceptional value. Much as though I miss kind of the old electrics, and it makes me feel old just saying that the Class 90 is old now, but driving this thing is a great deal of fun. Much as though we, great to have a 24-hour timetable, at least it's decent to have a couple of runs in each direction. We just need just one or two more scenarios, really. It'd be nice to have a bit of a pack. I sometimes feel with a lot of the scenarios that get uploaded for Train Sim Classic that sometimes there's too much emphasis on special runs and excuse me. I mean, much as though that's good and it's nice to see the variety, it's like, what about the run-of-the-mill everyday runs? Don't forget about those. We've kind of had the situation in the past where routes have been brought out where you haven't even got a proper full run in the daytime in each direction. Tree site kind of feels as though you're in the middle of nowhere. You've got the branch going off to Harwich as well. I think if you haven't got this 745, I certainly love the immersion, but really the best way of doing it is if you've got a Alan Thomson Simulation subscription, and it's not worth doing if you're only going to buy it for this, because you'd be spending a lot of money just for the sake of it, really. But there's other things that you want discounts on. I mean, for a start off, the missing link thing's a work of art as well, where you can drive sort of Birmingham New Street to Liverpool Lime Street via Stoke as well as via the main line. Almost given up hope that one day we'll get the bit from Stoke to Manchester Piccadilly via Macclesfield and Stockport. That's kind of the route I want to see above anything else. Yeah, this is one of those stations, Manningtree, that if you don't watch it, you kind of go sailing through.
We are now approaching Manningtree. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it, say it, sort it.
You can drive the Harwich line with the Just Trains extension, but not on this version of the route though, it's on the original one. I've still been meaning to do another part of that European scenario as well, which was sort of Harwich to Glasgow. But we got as far as Watford Junction going over the North London line. That was quite good fun.
Welcome to this service for Norwich. The next stop will be Ipswich.
Again, we've got 80 really here, so well, okay, half a mile, and we've got 100 again. So don't think we need to. Here's a neutral section. It always seems to be that they put these neutral sections in just the exact places to try and catch the driver out. I'm sure that's not point of them, because of course in reality,
welcome to this service for Norwich. We will be calling at Ipswich, Stowmarket, Diss and Norwich. The next stop will be Ipswich.
I mean, in reality, oh, this is a nice bit as well, by the way, going over the river. Is that the River Stour, is it? Or the Stour Estuary? That wasn't even on the original game, believe it or not. Astonishing omission. But yeah, if you stopped the train with the pantograph right over as the neutral section, you wouldn't be able to move it. You'd have to rely on, if you're on a gradient, actually rolling. There's many examples of that happening over the years, but it'd be a massive embarrassment. Nearly got that view there, didn't we? But never mind. Yeah, anybody tries to tell you that driving a modern train's boring and train sim, well, give this one a go. To say quickly as well that the live stream's normally 5 o'clock on a Sunday. This week it's going to be Friday, probably 7:30. Might only be 3 hours on Friday. We'll see how I feel on Friday night, but it's going to be Friday. I've realised as well, and I didn't think of this in advance, but football team that I follow, Stoke City, are actually involved with a home match on Friday night. I think it's on Sky. It's a long time since I've actually been going to the matches, so I will be missing that. But maybe it's not a bad thing, because it could be a tough old evening. So in some ways, I'll be quite glad not to watch it and find out what's happened afterwards. we can see it now. I'll have to see when the 745 is it. I get mixed up 745, 755. But when the diesel version comes out, I'm not sure I'll be rushing to buy. In all honesty, might have to wait till it comes in a sale or something like that. But I don't know. There might be a discount perhaps if you already own the 745. Yes, the 755 isn't in the diesel variation, thinking about it. Well, I'll say diesel, it's hybrid, isn't it? Speed limits come down thick and fast as we come towards Ipswich. I wonder if this happens in reality for drivers, but it's funny, isn't it? But I kind of got a glimpse of red in my eye line for quite a while. It's just the roof on the top of that house, and you know, you could mistake it for thinking you were about to approach a red signal. I think this is just about the only tunnel on the line, isn't it? Coming into Ipswich. And I can virtually dare to utter this now, but this has been a almost flawless run, even if I say so myself. I'll try and get one or two more Train Sim Classic videos up when something interesting takes the eye. Again, tremendous thanks to Train Driver Gamer who created this scenario. I've done the easy bit really, doing the driving, and very fun it was too. I love how it takes ages before the doors open, which would probably be as per reality.
Welcome to this service for Norwich. The next stop will be Stowmarket.
Well, that's where this driver's going to leave it. He'll be handing over to another driver to carry on the run to Norwich. Hope very much you've enjoyed that. It was a great experience for me driving the ATS Class 745 yet again. And a lovely scenario as well it was, by train driver GEMMA, and I downloaded that from Alan Thomson Simulation as well. Great to see the 360s representing the 345s with the reskins. It gave a nice atmospheric feel about the run. Plenty of AI traffic, nice bit of kind of jeopardy at the start with adverse signals because of a signalling issue in and around Stratford. So an interesting scenario. So thank you very much for watching, and just to say one last time, if you've not done it before, if you consider liking and subscribing to the channel, I'd be really appreciated. Help keep the support going, and thank you very much as always to the existing subscribers. Your support is massively appreciated, and you know who you are, I think. But thank you very much for watching. Join me for the live stream, as I say, usually Sunday at 5 o'clock, but this particular week, if you're watching it live after Easter week, or watching the premiere after Easter week, then it's going to be 7:30 on the Friday night. So thanks again from Powerflower Trains and Planes. It's goodbye.